Okay, boys, here we are. This is step one of refurbishing the John Deere Gator HPX. In this step, I'm going to tear it down to get down to the bare minimum so we can get to all the wiring to replace the wiring harness whenever I get it. It's on order. It'll come sometime, but now I'm going to strip this thing down to get to all open channels for the wiring. And so we can replace, what we're going to do is replace the whole wiring harness except for the foot pedal, the stick shift, and the motors and the gearboxes. So here we go. We're going to start. What I'll do is turn it over and take the seats out first. Okay, as you can see, it's turned over. And you see the four little red knobs. We unscrew them and we'll be able to get the seats out. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, the four knobs are off. The seats should just pop off. So we'll see if that's true. And sure enough, it's true. The seats came right out. Here they are. I'll put them on the side. Okay. Now, looks like next, we'll have to take the back bed off. We'll work on that next. Okay, to get the bed off, got a couple places we have to pull some pins. One of them's down here where we release the bed. Bring it up, and if you see right here, there's a pin there. We have to get that out. So we get a screwdriver in there, and we pry it out. And once we do that, which is sometimes easy, sometimes hard, it depends how much weight is on there. It's hard to do it with one hand when I'm holding the camera in the other, so there we go. That's out. The bed will fall back, and if you see these two places here, there's a couple pins, one pin there, one pin over there we have to get out. Okay, as you can see, right here, I already pried one of them out. I'm going to go to the other side, partially pry that one out. Let's take a screwdriver here. And if you see the pin right there, there's where it's at, and you pry that out. And that'll eventually release the bed. So there you have that part. There's the two pins, and there's the bed. As soon as we pulled the pins out off of these hinges here, that took care of getting the bed off. So we'll put the bed on the side now. Okay, once we got the bed off, we can see the bottom cover here for the motors, and all we got to do is pry it one side over here, over there, and this side, and pull this thing up right here. Let's see what we got. There we go. Pull it up, and we can pull back like this. You can see the motors and the wiring going to the motors, and there's the gear shift there. We have to take that off in order to get this cover off and move it aside, and we'll get to most of the wiring. So I'll be right back once I remove the gear shift. Okay, there's the gear shift. If you look down close, you'll see two screws at the bottom there. We're going to take them two screws out. Okay, that's one. That's two. So we got both screws out. The gear shift picks up, and there's a cable cover there here for the cables coming from the battery and the foot switch. So I'm going to pull these off and get to those. I'll be right back. Okay, once I took those screws out, I just had to slide out the gear shift. Right there, you can see the connector for the gear shift. And as soon as that came out, then our back cover came up to expose all the, the wiring and the stuff going to the two rear motors. I'll put that cover over here with the rest of the pieces. And what I'll do from here is disconnect the gear shift, because we're going to get a new one, and also get this piece here that covers the wiring. That'll come off, I know. Once I get to it, there it goes. All right, got that loose, and that comes off right there. You see that? This thing here is the thermal. What happens if it draws too much juice or whatever, it gets too hot, this will cut off the power. And that goes right to the foot switch there. I'm going to remove that so I can get to the wiring harness coming from the battery. Now I'm going to unclip this plug that goes to the gear shift, because we're going to get rid of that one and the gear shift itself. So I can't do it with one hand. I'll be right back after I disconnect. Okay, I disconnected it. You can see it can be 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 6-pin going to a 6-pin here. I know the new one's going to be a 12-pin going to the gear shift, and the harness is going to have a 12-pin too. So they'll match, and it's no big deal. So I'm going to take this, put it with the other spare parts, and go from there. Okay, the only thing else we got to do is get the gas pedal switch off of there. It'll expose everything, and then when I get the new harness, I can put it all in. The motors won't come for a while, so I can put the new harness in there. And I think, I'm going to get back to you on that, I'm going to look at the motors. I think one of them's burnt up. That's what caused this thing to use the power so much and get so hot. So I'll get back to you. Okay, there is a little cover right down here. Where's that? Right there. And I'm able to pull the cable that connects to the battery, and I can get all the wiring harness out. So I'm pretty much at a standstill now. I got to get all this crap. There's a lot of crap down here. Vacuum that out, clean it out, get the plug wherever I popped it at for the cover here for the cable going to the battery. And then that's it. I'm going to be waiting for parts to replace everything. So I'm going to get back to you on the motor. I'm going to check one out right now. I'm going to pull it, or at least pull the connections and see what's going on with it. Okay, once you got all that off, you see the garbage down there. I'm going to vacuum out. Here's the connection to this is the connection to the battery. Follows into the foot pedal to make it go. That goes into the gear shift lever with the plug, and that follows back into the motors. So the harness, really, there's nothing really complicated about it. It's just pretty simple, but because this thing has been really drawn to amps, I'm pretty sure one of the motors, but the gear shift lever wasn't working anymore either. It only would go in high speed. You couldn't get in reverse. So all these things got damaged somehow from, I don't know, too much draw, or who knows, whatever, from time. So once we get it, we'll replace the harness and the gear shift lever, and we'll wait for the motors. But right now, I'm going to check out one of the motors and get back to you. Okay, as I suspected, I'm checking out the left side motor right here, and I'm looking at one of the leads going into it. You can see it's all black. That means it was getting very hot and drawing a lot of amps. And if you pull it off and look at it, you can see that. If I can get a picture of it here, you can see all this insulation is burnt up. It's cracked. It pulls right off. The wires are burnt. So this motor pretty much is shot, and that's what was causing all the problems. So once we get the new ones and the new harness, thing is going to be like brand new. The other side looks okay. It's not drawing a lot. It was just one side, but that's all it takes to kill the battery when you're running this thing. So as I suspected, it was a bad motor, and when we get them all, we replace this thing like brand new. So that's all for today, guys. When I get the harness, I'll show you how I put it in, and I'll be prepared for the motors when we get them, motors and the gearboxes. So you guys have a good day. I hope I helped you with this, and you'll learn something when you have your own kids, when they have ride-on toys, because a lot of things are going to be electric in the next 20 years. Anyway, love you guys. Get back to you when I get the parts. Bye-bye.